To solve the system by elimination, the first thing I would do before we worry about getting anything to cancel out is to clear out all of our fractions. And the easiest way to do that is to multiply everything by the denominator. So for the top equation, I'm going to multiply everything by 3. And I mean like everything on both sides. And then for the bottom equation, I'm going to multiply everything by 2. So to rewrite my top equation, this 3 that I put on the outside here, when you multiply that times 1/3, I'm just going to do a little scratch work over here. 3 times 1/3 would be 3 over 3, or just 1. So basically it cancels itself out, and that's what our whole purpose is here. So 3 times 1/3 is 1, leaving us with just x. And then I'd have to distribute it. So the 3 goes to the x term, it goes to the y term, and it goes to the -4. So this would be minus 3y, and then -4 times 3 is -12. And then same deal with the bottom equation. The 2 times the 1/2 is going to cancel out, leaving me with just x, which is what I wanted. And then minus 2y, and then 2 times -3 is -6. All right, so now I can worry about getting things to cancel out. So I notice that I have 2 x's. I have an x in each equation. They are the same sign, but all I'd have to do is change the sign in order to get them to cancel. So I'm going to choose to cancel out, I'm going to choose to make the bottom one negative. So I'm going to multiply everything in the bottom equation by -1. So the first thing I'm going to do is just rewrite the top equation. And then my bottom equation is going to become -x plus 2y equals +6. So the only thing that changes here is the signs. So now I'm just going to add them. My x's cancel, which is what I wanted. -3y plus 2y would be -1y. So I'm just going to write -y. And then -12 plus 6 is -6. Now the only thing I have left to do is just to divide everything by -1. And I get my first answer, which is y equals 6. Now the next thing I have to do is figure out my x value. If I really wanted to, I could go through this whole elimination process again. But I think the easiest thing to do is to take this 6 and plug it back into one of our original equations, which is kind of like substitution. So it's kind of like a hybrid of the two things that we're doing, but I think it's the best way. Now, we're going to plug it into one of the original equations. It really doesn't matter which one. I'm going to choose the bottom one. Just looks a little easier to me. So I would have 1/2 x minus my y value, which I now know is 6, and that equals -3. I'm going to add 6 to both sides. So I would have 1/2 x equals, and then -3 plus 6 is 3. And then to get rid of this 1/2, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply by 2 over 1 on both sides. So those cancel. And then 3 times 2 is 6, and I don't need the 1 anymore. You could put the denominator there, but you don't need it. So final answer, both of my values were 6. So my final answer is the ordered pair 6, 6.